Hey everybody, welcome to Life of Sunny Lea. And this past 2 weeks, I've been puppy shopping. Actually, I bought a puppy, I just haven't got it yet. But it took me a while to decide what one I wanted to get. As you probably know, we lost our 15-year-old German Shepherd mix dog back in December. And we weren't quite ready for a new puppy. We kind of knew we wanted a dog, but we weren't for sure when. And we decided we would wait until summertime to get one. That way it'd make it easier for potty training and just training in general. And my first decision I had to make was whether I wanted a male or a female. Well, that was pretty easy. I knew I wanted a female. They're usually smaller in size than what the males are. And I still wanted a medium to fairly large sized dog. And the next question was whether I wanted to get a purebred or whether I wanted to get a rescue mix. And I decided on, I've had purebreds in the past. I've had collies that were registered, and I've had purebred Dalmatian, purebred German Shepherds, purebred Lab. I've had purebreds. And I've also had mutts, strays that we've adopted in. And most of the strays end up having some type of problem. Either one of them was heartworm positive, cost a lot of money to get that taken care of. Another one was aggressive, we couldn't even tame it down. And of course, Shoes was a stray. She was born of a stray. Her mother was a stray. She was born on our back porch. And we kept her. And she was a great dog, but she did have health problems at the end where her legs became paralyzed and she couldn't move. And we're not for sure what it was, but the vet kind of leaned towards DM, or one of those spinal diseases that's carried by genetics. So I decided that we wanted to get a purebred dog. We wanted one that we knew what the health of its parents were, to try to avoid anything like that in the future. And the next thing was what breed. We knew we wanted a larger dog since we live out in the country on a farm area and on a semi-working farm. We rent out the land, but it still is working. And we have some chickens and we have cats and stuff, and we wanted a larger dog, but we didn't want a gigantic one. So our next choices basically were my three favorite breeds. Do I want a collie? Do I want a Dalmatian? Or do I want another German Shepherd? And my son wanted me to get a Golden Retriever. Now, I love Golden Retrievers, don't get me wrong, but they are so friendly that they would not be for what I really want out here. I want something that was going to make people kind of think before they get out of the car if they happen to just drive here and be total strangers. Don't want anybody knocking on my door trying to sell me stuff. So I did a lot of research. And I finally decided on a German Shepherd. Okay, so once you find out what you want, then you have another problem. German Shepherds are not all the same. Oh, they don't all look the same. They don't all act the same. There are several types of German Shepherds. You have the working line and you have the show line. You have a long coat or you have a short coat. You have different colors that you can get. You can get the black on tan. You can get sable. You can get all black. And if you want an AKC one, and if you don't care if they're AKC acceptable, then you can get a white one because they don't recognize it as a registered AKC is at right now that I know of. There are also different rare ones. There's a liver, there's a panda, a blue, I think it's called. There's all kinds of different colors that you can get. The most popular is the black and tan ones with the black saddle and the tan coloring. Now, all of your German Shepherds are going to be approximately 22 to 26 inches high. Some of them the males might get bigger than the females. They weigh anywhere from 65 to 95 pounds. They run their speed, they can go between 28 and 30 miles per hour, so they're a fast little dog. And they have a bite pressure of approximately 238 to 250 psi's. So it's very important to teach them when they're young not to bite. So we have the different types of dogs that you can get. You can get the black and tan, which when born they're going to be almost pure black. And they're very smart, easy to train. Usually start training and socializing early, and they're always full of energy. I've got some notes here. I can't remember all this stuff at once. Okay, another type of German Shepherd is sable German Shepherd, and they're usually used for police or military work. And the difference between them and the other one is that they usually need a more experienced or active handler. Their coat keeps changing as they grow. Their fur is mixed with black, tan, and gray, which gives them kind of a wolfish appearance. And the hair has different shades within it. And they have super high energy drives and very strong work ethics. They're strong and they stay focused, they work hard, and they can handle the tough jobs and keep their cool. They have a very protective nature. The third type of German Shepherd is the black German Shepherd. And it's usually best for guard or protection, service or therapy dogs, and they also need an experienced handler. Only about 6.8% of the German Shepherds are black, so they're kind of rare. And of course the fourth one is the white German Shepherd. Usually these are more used for service animals, therapy animals, family pets. Very easy to train, good for obedience classes and agility competition, but they're not recognized by the AKC or the German Shepherd Club of Germany. They have a bright white fur, they're calm, they're friendly, and a good all-around dog, especially for first owners. Now, those are the main 4 different types of German Shepherds that you can find. Now, you also have the working line and the show line. And the working line is usually bred for strength, endurance, drive, ideal for police work, military work, or for protection or for herding. The show line, they're bred more for the looks, how they look, to be used in show rings and for competition. The working class line are best used, like I said, for police, military, protection, security work, livestock herding. They have a high, intense intelligence. Let's see. They're bred for action. They have a natural drive. They're very high focused, have high energy. They have a more practical build, strong muscles, nice solid structure, and they do have a high prey drive. So you have to be very careful about how you train them, especially if you have small children or cats around, any small animal. They are focused, and they're very easy to train. Now, once you decide if you want a working dog or a show dog, you have different working line bred lines. You have the East German DDR line, which is a larger bone dog, thicker coat, superior tracking skills. You have the Czech working line, which is more of a compact, highly driven dog. You have the European German Shepherd dog, and you have the West German working line. These dogs are smart and loyal. They need a more experienced handler to provide strong training. They love physical and mental challenges, and they can follow complex commands, and they like to run fast, and they like to jump, and they're very loyal, very intelligent, and very versatile. Now the other line is a show dog line, and these are usually used for family pets. They're more docile. They are not quite as active. They're graceful. They're calm dogs. They're bred more for looks than they are for anything else. They're more less active and more adaptable to family life. They usually have an angular or sloped back in their hindquarters, so that some of them actually are so sloped that they kind of look like they're walking like a frog. And they have lower energy and stamina. And they have different lines, breeding lines also. There's the West German show line, which is a rich red and black coat with a very sloped back. And then there's this American show line, which is a leaner, taller dog that has a really, really sloped back. Some people even think that it should have its own breed. Now you also have the rare type of German Shepherds, which are harder to find. And that would be the Panda, which is not recognized by the AKC. This is a fur has black, white, and tan patches resembling a panda. And somebody's got their dogs out running. And then another rare one is the blue German Shepherd. This has a steel blue or a slate gray coat, and they can have additional health problems. So I kind of stay away from them. They're more sensitive to the sun. They have a problem with sometimes have a problem with their skin where they get loose their fur or they get dry patchy areas. They are AKC accepted, but they are considered a fault if you go into competition. The third one is a liver-colored German Shepherd, which is not AKC acceptable at this time, has a deep brown or a chocolate coat. So you got all those different varieties of German Shepherds to choose from. So you have to decide if you want a working line or a show line. You have to decide what type of dog you want within that to look for the breeding line. And then you have the problem if you want a short-haired or long-haired, because they all come in both long-hair and short-hair. And the short-hair coat is usually 1 to 2 inches long with an undercoat, with a dense protective undercoat. And the top coat, outer coat, the guard hairs, kind of protect it from the water, and the undercoat kind of insulates it in colder weather. And they're low maintenance. Where the long-haired ones have a longer fur, the fur is at least 2 inches long or longer. They do not have an undercoat, so you have to be more careful if you take them out in cold weather, because they look like they've got all this nice fur, but they don't have that insulation underneath of it. And you have to brush them a lot to keep them from matting. So, you've decided what breed you want. You've decided what line you want, whether you want a working or show. You've decided whether you want what breeding line you want to go for inside of that working class or show class. And you've decided if you want a long hair or a short haired dog. So now it's time to actually try to choose the puppy that you want. Kind of look at your lifestyle. If you have a very active style, you might want a working line dog. If you have kids at home, you might want to go with a show line bred. The long-haired dogs will require more brushing and more care. The show line dogs, you have the problem with the sloping back, which German Shepherds have a problem with hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, and DM, which is a disorder of the spine. So you want to take those things into consideration. If they're already having problems with hips and stuff, you might want to not go with a really slopey back, because that puts more pressure on the hips and stuff, in my opinion. And so you might want to watch out for that. Make sure that when you talk to your breeder, that if you get a purebred, make sure they've been tested for that, or their parents have been tested for it. If you want something that's more protective, you'll want to go with a working line. If you want something that stands out and people notice, you might want to go with one of the rare colors. If you're a first-time owner, you might want to just get a show line dog that's easy to train. If you like the long-haired ones, if you're going to be indoor, that's fine. As long as you've got the time to take care of it, that's fine. Remember that the German Shepherd was first introduced in 1899 as a herding dog, originally bred to herd sheep and to protect the shepherd. So therefore, they like to have a job. So if you take on a German Shepherd, know that you're going to have to be up on your training, keep it trained. You're going to have to know that its instinct is to herd and protect. So you're going to have to give it plenty of mental and physical stimulation. Even if it's a show line, it's still going to have more, it's going to have more energy than most other dogs. So we decided on a working class dog. We decided that we wanted short hair because it's going to be inside and it's going to be outside. So we wanted to have it the dense coat underneath for winter time, for when it's out in the winter. So I don't have to put a jacket and sweater on it. Excuse me. And so I started looking, and I've been looking for a while. And I found a lot of show lines around here. I found a lot of long coats around here. And it was very hard to find a black and tan, which is why I wanted working dog that had a good farm start. And I found one up at Columbus, which is a little north for us. It's really not that far away. Taulman's German Shepherds. And we put down a down payment for a female. And he sent me pictures this past week of the puppies. And I'll let you, I've asked him if I could share these pictures in his name. He said fine. So these are the 5 females that I get to choose from. And there's 2 males in this litter. I'll put the pictures of those on also. The first choice female and first choice male have already been taken. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these puppies, I'll give his information for his farm in the notes below. And you can contact him if you're interested. So, thanks for watching. Hope you learned a little bit about German Shepherds. And they're wonderful dogs. And hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.